What is it like to go from the S26 Ultra slab smartphone extraordinaire to the new Galaxy Z Fold 8? Well, I just found out. Let's go. The thing with this switch that I've made is it's actually more jarring and more adjustment is needed than going from a slab phone to Samsung's previous foldables. A normal foldable, the Fold 7 that I've got here, has been designed to have the transition be as smooth and as natural as possible. That is because the cover screen basically mirrors the same as what a slab smartphone is now. It's a familiar aspect ratio that you've been using on a slab phone for years, so the transition is easy. And now that the fold's been made thinner and lighter, it's also been made easier from a comfort point of view because it literally just feels like using a normal slab smartphone, especially when it's closed. A similar thing could be said about the Flip. Because of the fact you've got a normal phone when it's open, at no point is that transition to be made a little bit more difficult because of the fact you are going from a compact experience to a regular one. The Galaxy Z Fold 8 is just a different league. There's nothing that really compares to it from Samsung's other lineup because it's just so different. Honestly, some of the best stuff about reviewing phones is the accidental things that just end up pleasing you. I don't know if you've ever seen or listened to Hamish and Andy, their podcast, but there's a Please Andy segment that they do because Andy likes everything neat, orderly, and practical. And this is exactly one of those situations with the Fold 8. So I've got the wireless charging pad here in the car, and the wireless charging pad fits the Fold 8 and the car key perfectly. With the S26 Ultra, it takes up the whole space because, like I said, about conventional phones, that's the way it's been, so they build to that specification. Even that view is great. The Fold 8 has enough room for the key to slot perfectly at the top, so it fits everything. It's magical. The cover screen is wide. It's actually wider than the S26 Ultra, which already was a wide phone. It's not by much, but it's enough to notice it as you're using it. And because it is also so much shorter, you've got almost a square that you're holding. Consuming any form of content that you've consumed in the past will take your brain some adjustment because you're not used to seeing it in that way. Social media is probably the perfect example that I've got. Going from the elongated feeds of Instagram, where you're scrolling through and seeing the bottom half of one content, the full of another, and then the top half of the one underneath, you've got some room and it doesn't feel like you're cramped in. And then on the Fold 8's cover screen, you basically are just getting just the content and that's it. There's nothing else that you're seeing. Some people who maybe get claustrophobic might feel a bit cramped in because, well, that's tight. Also, the typing experience becomes a little bit different on the cover screen on the Fold 8 versus the S26 Ultra. Pretty much the S26 Ultra, the keyboard would take up the bottom half of the screen if you've conditioned it that way, whereas the Fold 8, because it's so much shorter, it's a little bit of a different typing experience and the content feels more cut off. So it's just, again, something you've got to adjust to. Then there's the whole unfolding behavior that you've got to get used to. Especially with this form factor, you're going straight into a widescreen format. 4:3 versus other foldables, which are more of a square and more of a portrait orientation. This is landscape. You've got to get used to that aspect ratio of content that you're watching. If you don't know what you're doing or you haven't used a Samsung foldable before, adjusting to the way apps scale and trying to figure out the settings can take some time. Fortunately, I've taken a lot of the steps necessary, so you don't need to think about it yourself. You can go check out my video, the first things you need to do on the Z Fold 8, and that'll take care of that for you. Because once you figure that out, it's actually not so bad, and you can just carry on using it. But for example, if you're using a slab phone like the S26 Ultra at the moment, there is one speed, one gear, there's no getting more real estate out of it. This is what you're stuck with. In some ways, it's simple because you don't need to think. You literally just pick up the phone and use it. With the Fold 8, you've got to start to figure out what display you're going to use for what purpose. There's a bit of a balance. You've got activity that probably is good for the cover screen, and then you've got activity that you need to probably take advantage of that inner display for. For example, taking photos. I would probably say that's a cover screen activity, especially with the way the aspect ratio of the cameras work and the orientation of the phone. You probably want to match up the orientation of how you're holding the phone with the orientation of how the cameras take photos and videos. But there is a world where actually unfolding it can also be good, and it depends on what you want to do. If you're taking lots of photos at once, it might be great to have that inner display because you've got things like capture view, where you have the content that you're capturing on the right-hand side, and it fills the display in that area nicely. And then also you can see the review of it straight away, so you can actually get a bigger review of what you've taken whether you want to keep it or delete it. And then because you've got that cover screen as well, you can turn on cover screen preview to capture people in front of you. That way they can see themselves in the shot and frame themselves up. And especially for me who has kids, it's actually really great to have this feature on any foldable that I've used. Photos on the S26 Ultra, you've got 2 speeds. It's this way or this way. And that's it. I'll get to the cameras in a moment, so relax. The thing with the Fold 8 too is you also can consume media on both displays pretty comfortably as well. Because that aspect ratio, as I mentioned, is 16:10 on the cover screen, it actually fits quite nicely with any 16:9 content that you're watching. It's pretty immersive, you don't get much black bars, and with the added tent mode flexibility, you can actually prop it up and have the content staring back at you. And again, S26 Ultra, you need a case to make that happen. But then again, with the slab phone, you're stuck there with that front screen, with the only screen rather, because you go to the expansive inner screen on the Z Fold 8, and because it is a shorter format when it's open versus the other foldables, it does give you a bit more immersion because it's a reduction in black bars top and bottom. What I actually noticed is that the width of the Z Fold 8 when it's unfolded matches the width of the S26 Ultra when it's rotated into landscape. But because the aspect ratio of the S26 Ultra doesn't match the Fold 8, obviously, doesn't allow for as big a content viewing experience as what the Fold 8 does. And again, you just get a better experience out of that inner display on the Fold 8. Then there's the whole orientation thing. The Fold 8, you can literally use it like a mini tablet when it's held in portrait view, whether it be consuming news content, whether it be catching up on your Now Brief, or the other night, I ran myself a little test when I hosted trivia. I took both the S26 Ultra and the Z Fold 8 with me in my pockets, and I wanted to see which one would be the best to run the mini game that we run at half time to determine who's the smartest in the room. I opened the Fold 8 into portrait orientation and got the questions and answers up on that part of the screen, and then I used that to read out the questions, so held it like a tablet, like a notebook even, and it looked quite legitimate.
The Odyssey film was directed by who? Christopher Nolan or Steven Spielberg?
I then transitioned to the S26 Ultra to read out the answers, and it felt a little bit more impersonal because I'm holding a phone, and you know what it's like when people are holding phones while they're talking. It doesn't feel as authentic.
Everyone seems to have gone hands on heads. If you haven't, I would say read the room and take a look. The correct answer is, of course, Christopher Nolan heads. You may all continue.
It sounds ridiculous in your head, but actually, really, it does make sense. Now, I said I was going to come back to the cameras, and this is where I am coming back to the cameras. The camera hardware is a little bit of a challenge because the biggest loss for me is the loss of the 5x telephoto from the S26 Ultra. I genuinely couldn't care less about a 3x telephoto. I think the main camera does a good enough job at cropping into that, so I don't really care about not having that dedicated camera. I want a dedicated 5x camera because the range on that 5x camera from the S26 Ultra is just something that I haven't found yet on another smartphone. Even the Xiaomi 17 Ultra, which I used for a bit. Before I properly switched over to the Z Fold 8, we had a carnival that my son's football team went to. They won. It was time to celebrate them having the trophy and getting their pictures taken all together. And there was only one camera that people asked to take photos with, and that was mine, the S26 Ultra. I didn't film any of this, and I thought about it as I was doing it. You should film this, but I didn't. But the coach, I'm the assistant coach now, said, whoever's got the best camera, please take the photos of the kids holding the trophy. We all knew straight away who that was going to be, me. So I lined the kids up one by one, and I used the 5x camera with portrait mode to capture the shots. It took some incredible photos of the kids holding the trophy in that 5x range, and all the parents were happy. Obviously, I'm showing you the 5x ones of just my son, so I'm not going to put anyone else out there, but you get my point. My wife also uses an S26 Ultra, and she swears by the 5x camera being the most important thing about a smartphone for her, because she films all of my son's football games, every single one that he plays in. And she uses the 5x camera to capture the action, not just because it's great at that zoomed in range when he's on the field, but also the way it's cinematic in the before the game shots, because she puts together little highlight clips, and it's just so great at capturing depth and detail and is perfect for what she wants to use it for. So that is going to be an adjustment. If you value this form factor, but you also like photography, might be something that's a little bit too far for you to go to. But then the software of the Fold 8's camera, I already spoke about, that can give you an added advantage that maybe you couldn't get from a slab phone. And ultimately, that's what a foldable is it's software that takes advantage of the hardware form factor. And the Fold 8 has software that truly sets it apart from any slab phone you've used. The inner display on the Fold 8 with the multitasking options that you have allows you to properly have room to multi-window. Absolutely can do this on the S26 Ultra, and I do often use multi-window to take advantage of some things, but having more room, honestly, it changes you. I don't know how to describe it other than that. Because if you really want to be productive, you just don't have the space on the S26 Ultra to do it comfortably. Like I said before, if you're feeling claustrophobic, sometimes not having enough space on a smartphone screen can feel the same way. But the Fold 8 just elevates it. It truly gives you the room back, and it's all down to the aspect ratio. That 4:3 on the inside gives you two 16:10 apps next to each other, which with the software, you can now expand it into 3 screens directly next to each other, which goes back to that cramp thing I was talking about. But the 2, sensational. One thing I specifically like doing on my phones is I like watching content and then dragging in a chat app to talk live about something or respond to a message as the video is playing. It might not be the best habit, and you might disagree with me doing it, but it's my phone and I can do what I want. With the S26 Ultra, it was maximum of the pop-up window that I would utilize. I drag it in, drop the pop-up there, and then again, it's that cramped little format, and then I'm trying to type while watching the content at the same time. And in particularly with the Fold 8 open in portrait orientation, I actually think this works sensationally because I've got the top half of the screen, which gives me the video in that top half as well, which is 16:10, and then I can use the bottom half for responding to messages or just keeping up to date with the live chat so I can see what's going on with the game and respond as I need to. Then you've just got the access to things like cover screen continuity, which kind of reminds me a little bit of like a magazine. On a magazine, you're looking at the front page and you're like, oh, I want to learn a bit more about that. And then you go to the page that you need to and have the more information. Cover screen continuity is the same. You can see something on the cover screen that you want to view in a more expansive way, open it up, and you can do that. With a slab phone, the S26 Ultra that I'm switching from, you just don't have that option. Everything is there. You've got that size, that speed that I said, and that's it. The thing is with the Fold 8 is a lot of people will argue that the Fold already did all of this stuff. And it's true. It did. But I think what Samsung have done here with the intentional aspect ratio and the size and the form of the cover screen gives you more of a reason to open up. And for me, that goes back to what their original intention with the Fold was, which is that convenient cover screen that you can get stuff done on quickly, smartphone interactions, notifications, that sort of stuff. But then the second you want to do anything more expansive and have more room to do it, you unfold into the wider format and you actually utilize that inner display a lot more. This is the same concept. It's a smartphone display on the front that is a little bit more compact, a little bit more intentionally thought out, and then you have to open it if you want to get more work done. That front screen is convenient and useful, but it's not perfect for everything, which means that inner display that is pretty much perfect for lots of things gets its time to shine. For me, the whole thing with this phone is from the moment you pick it up, you just want to use it. You genuinely can't put it down. The second you try and put it down, you're like, oh, you know what? I can do something else, and you pick it back up. But it's not a perfect smartphone. There are many downsides that if you evaluate it as a foldable in 2026 do exist. I'm going to save that honestly for a separate video because I think you need to look past some of the downsides of a foldable and look at this in isolation as just this. Because if you try and compare it to the Fold 7 or Fold 8 Ultra, there are some things where it's obviously going to come short. But if you exist just in an echo chamber, if you look at this in isolation, this is actually quite incredible. And it can have the opportunity to transform smartphone behaviors. And I think that's probably for me the most impressive part about it, especially after switching away from a slab phone. So with that, I'll say to debate in the comments what you think that switch would be like for yourself if you were going to make it. Let me know. And whilst you're down there, you can hit subscribe because I'm not done covering this thing yet. I genuinely think I've got more to say, so I'll say it when the time is right. Hit subscribe and I'll see you guys in the next one. Phew!